S5 II X by Lumix. This is the baby full frame camera to the S1 that we've had previously using it as part of our equipment. And today, thank you to Macarthur Camerahouse for lending this to us for about a week. And this is going to be our hands-on experience or how we felt this camera went up to speed with the rest of our gear. The first thing I wanted to do when we got this camera from Camerahouse is show out the box. We had 3 projects in the past week using this camera. We did not use a gimbal, tripod, monopod, rig, anything like that. Purely handheld. How is this camera coping with mixed lighting, backlight, glares, flares, anything like that? We put it through, as well as just being the ability to be versatile, run and gun. The first thing you guys will notice, the S5 II X to the S5 II, there's not much difference. It really is just that blacked out badge, and got a bit of a tune-up, I guess, in a way, software-wise. You got new codecs. You're able to shoot ProRes out of this thing, as well as Blackmagic RAW. The size and shape is just really super comfortable, whether or not you're shooting up here or down in the hip. It works really well, and that IBIS just comes in really, really nicely. One thing is that when you paired it with the 24-70, it becomes really front heavy. This lens is massive and really long, and because the camera is so light and small, it does become a very, very front heavy setup. I find myself kind of just holding it more at the lens than at the camera half the time with this lens setup. Now, we also got given the 50mm as well, and this was really nice to use. Super light, and it just makes it just a dream to handheld with. Out of all the projects that we've done with this camera, we really tested IBIS to the limits, and it worked really well. You get natural kind of shake, and you don't get this kind of lag, I guess, IS trying to recover your shake like a second late. And it was just really natural that you can either fix on post or just kind of leave it as a natural kind of movement. The best feature in this camera has got to be the switch between the photo and video. And the best thing is that you can retain its settings. So you can have your photos as natural or standard, and then when you go down to the video mode, you go straight to vlog. That's a really good setting, because then you can be really hybrid out there. You can give your clients photography and you give your clients videography without kind of going through the menu each time. Now, the first downside to this camera, that's the first thing that we really noticed as soon as we put it into the project, is we like to shoot 4K 50 or 4K 60 for a lot of our projects in a handheld, and we can't do that in full frame. It crops the full frame, and you're shooting really in APS-C. Now, you still get the full frame blur, the full frame look, the full frame everything. You're just not getting the full frame field of view. That's because the sensor and the processor cannot handle that much of a, I guess, high capacity recording. So the upside of this camera really is when you're shooting it externally, not through a card, and you can go on full open everything at H.265 at 6K, and the image would be amazing. Watching a lot of the reviews and the articles out there, one of the big downsides of this camera is the autofocus, and I think that's one of the big downsides with a lot of the Lumix cameras out there. It's not as good as its competitor counterparts. The way we felt is that it kept up to our speed. It was accurate, it was sticky, the face detection is really nice, it sticks onto the subject's eyes. Now, in saying that, as soon as there's more than 2 people in frame, it does start to hunt a little bit, and it does start to kind of be sensitive to little movements. But what I found to the next shoot is that if you go into the settings and change the sensitivity, there is an autofocus kind of parameters that you can set. The moment you can change it to how you like it, it works better for you. We also had a bit of an experience to use this for photo for our clients, and I've got to say the images came out really nice. The focus was really quick, the electronic shutter was amazing, that silent shutter was really good. It was really useful, especially if you have a partner or a colleague working on video that you didn't want your clicks and beeps to kind of go into that. Super fast camera with the focusing back and forth. It worked with glares, it worked with flares, it had no problems with that. In the edit, every image came out sharp. Color and tone was amazing. The raw file was easy to work with. And really, it was just a clean kind of shot. In conclusion, this camera is probably the most exciting hybrid cameras I've ever had to use, because on both sides, photo and video, it just handled it so well. If you need a camera that can do it all, I feel like this is the camera to go. And a massive thanks to Macarthur Camerahouse at Narellan. You guys have been awesome to work with, and thank you for lending this for a week. And stay tuned for more products in the next video.